Good evening, sweetheart. I hope you're ready for bed. So snuggle down nice and cozy and close your eyes and let me read you a bedtime story. The story tonight is more poetry, so hopefully it'll give you lots of lovely, lovely dreams. It's part of the series, Poetry for Young People, and they're the poems of Emily Dickinson. The illustrator for this book is Chi Chung, and she does beautiful, magical artwork, just perfect for dear Miss Dickinson. So take some deep breaths and relax, and let me help you have some wonderful dreams. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. The sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. It is all I have to bring today, this and my heart beside, this and my heart and all the fields and all the meadows wide. Be sure you count, should I forget someone the sum could tell, this and my heart and all the bees which in the clover dwell. I started early, took my dog, and visited the sea. The mermaids in the basement came out to look at me, and frigates on the upper floor extended hempen hands, presuming me to be a mouse aground upon the sands. But no man moved me till the tide went past my simple shoe, and past my apron and my belt, and past my bodice too, and made as he would eat me up, and holy as a dew, upon a dandelion sleeve, and then I started too. And he followed close behind. I felt his silver heel upon my ankle, and my shoes would overflow with pearl. Until we met the solid town, no one he seemed to know, and bowing with a mighty look at me the sea withdrew. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us, don't tell, they'll banish us, you know. How dreary to be somebody, how public like a frog, to tell your name the livelong day to an admiring bog. I hid myself within a flower, that wearing on your breast, you unsuspecting wear me too, and angels know the rest. I hide myself within my flower, that fading from your vase, you unsuspecting feel for me almost a loneliness. I dwell in possibility, a fairer house than prose, more numerous of windows, superior of doors, of chambers as the cedars, impregnable of eye, and for an everlasting roof the gables of the sky. Of visitors the fairest, for occupation this, the spreading wide my narrow hands to gather paradise. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains, if I were as tall as they? Has it feet like water lilies? Has it feathers like a bird? Has it brought from famous countries, of which I have never heard? O some scholar, O some sailor, O some wise man from the skies, please to tell a little pilgrim where the place called morning lies. I'll tell you how the sun rose, a ribbon at a time. The steeple swam in amethyst, the news like scrolls ran. The hills untied their bonnets, the bobolinks begun. Then I said softly to myself, that must have been the sun. But how he set I know not, there seemed a purple stile, which little yellow boys and girls were climbing all the while, till when they reached the other side, a dominie in grey put gently up the evening bars and led the flock away. She sweeps with many-colored brooms, and leaves the shreds behind. O housewife of the evening west, come back and dust the pond. You dropped a purple ravelling in, you dropped an amber thread, and now you've littered all the east with duds of emerald. And still she piles her spotted brooms, and still the aprons fly, till brooms fade softly into stars, and then I come away. I know some lonely houses off the road, a robber like the look of, wooden barred and windows hanging low, inviting to a portico, where two could creep, one hands the tools, the other peep, to make sure all's asleep. Old-fashioned eyes, not easy to surprise. How orderly the kitchen looked by night, with just a clock. But they could gag the tick, the mice won't bark, and so the walls don't tell, none will. A pair of spectacles ajar just stir, an almanac's aware. Was it the mat winked, or a nervous star? The moon slides down the stair to see who's there. There, plunder where? Tankard or spoon, earring or stone, a watch, some ancient brooch, to match the grandmamma stayed sleeping there. Day rattles too, stealth slow, the sun has got as far as the third sycamore. Screams Chanticleer, who's there? And echoes, trains away, sneer where? While the old couple, just astir, fancy sunrise, left the door ajar. The moon was but a chin of gold a night or two ago, and now she turns her perfect face upon the world below. Her forehead is of ample blonde, her cheek like beryl stone, her eye into the summer dew, the likest I have known. Her lips of amber never part, but what must be the smile upon her friend she could bestow, were such her silver will? And what a privilege to be but the remotest star, for certainly her way might pass beside your twinkling door. Her bonnet is the firmament, the universe her shoe, the stars the trink inside her belt, her dimities of blue. The next 7 poems are riddles Emily wrote. See if you can guess what she is describing. Pink, small, and punctual, aromatic, low, covert in April, candid in May, dear to the moss, known to the knoll, next to the robin in every human soul. Bold little beauty, bedecked with thee, nature forswears antiquity. The answer is an arbutus, a plant with little pink or white blossoms and strawberry-like berries. His bill an auger is, his head a cap and frill. He laboureth at every tree, a worm, his utmost goal. The answer is a woodpecker. And everywhere of silver, with ropes of sand, to keep it from effacing the track called land. The answer is the sea. I like to see it lap the miles and lick the valleys up, to stop and feed itself at tanks, and then prodigious step around a pile of mountains and superfluous pier and shanties by the sides of roads, and then a quarry par, to fit its sides and crawl between, complaining all the while, and horrid hooting stanza, then chase itself downhill. But nay, like Boanerges, then punctual as a star, stop domicile and omnipotent at its own stable door. The answer to this riddle is a train. A fuzzy fellow without feet, yet doth exceeding run. Of velvet is his countenance, and his complexion dun. Sometimes he dwelleth in the grass, sometimes upon a bough, from which he doth descend in plush upon the passer-by. The answer is a caterpillar, specifically one who becomes a butterfly. It sifts from leaden sieves, it powders all the wood, it fills with alabaster wool the wrinkles of the road. It makes an even face of mountains and of plain, unbroken forehead from the east unto the east again. It reaches to the fence, enwraps it rail by rail, till it is lost in fleeces, it flings a crystal veil. On stump and stack and stem, the summer's empty room, acres of seams where harvests were, recordless but for them. It ruffles wrists of post and ankles of a queen, then stills its artisans like ghosts, denying they have been. The answer is snow. A narrow fellow in the grass occasionally rides. You may have met him, did you not? His notice sudden is. The grass divides as with a comb, a spotted shaft is seen, and then it closes at your feet and opens further on. He likes a boggy acre, a floor to cool for corn, yet when a child and barefoot, I more than once at morn have passed, I thought, a whiplash, unbraiding in the sun, then stooping to secure it, it wrinkled and was gone. Several of nature's people I know, and they know me. I feel for them a transport of cordiality, but never met a fellow, attended or alone, without a tighter breathing and 0 at the bone. The answer is a snake. And that is the end of the riddles. Dear March, come in. How glad I am to look for you before. Put down your hat, you must have walked. How out of breath you are. Dear March, how are you and the rest? Did you leave nature well? Oh March, come right upstairs with me. I have so much to tell. I got your letter and the birds. The maples never knew that you were coming, I declare. How red their faces grew. But March, forgive me, and all those hills you left for me to hew. There was no purple suitable, you took it all with you. Who knocks? That April. Lock the door, I will not be pursued. He stayed away a year to call, when I was occupied. But trifles look so trivial, as soon as you have come, that blame is just as dear as praise, and praise as mere as blame. B, I'm expecting you. Was saying yesterday to somebody you knew that you were due. The frogs got home last week, are settled and at work. Birds mostly back, the clover warm and thick. You'll get my letter by the 17th reply, or better be with me, yours, Fly. The grass so little has to do, a sphere of simple green, with only butterflies to brood and bees to entertain, and stir all day to pretty tunes, and breezes fetch along, and hold the sunshine in its lap, and bow to everything. The thread, the dews, all night like pearls, and make itself so fine, a duchess were too common for such a noticing. And when it dies to pass, an odor so divine, as lowly spices gone to sleep, or amulets of pine. And then to dwell in sovereign barns, and dream the days away. The grass has so little to do, I wish I were a hay. A bird came down the walk, he did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves, and ate the fellow raw. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sideways to the wall to let a beetle pass. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers, and rowed him softer home. Then oars divide the ocean, to silver forests seem, where butterflies off banks of noon leap plashless as they swim. The bee is not afraid of me. I know the butterfly. The pretty people in the woods receive me cordially. The brooks laugh louder when I come, the breezes madder play. Wherefore mine eyes thy silver miss, wherefore, O summer's day? A soft sea washed around the house, a sea of summer air, and rose and fell the magic planks that sailed without a care. For captain was the butterfly, for helmsman was the bee, and an entire universe for the delighted crew. To make a prairie it takes a clover and one bee, one clover and a bee, and reverie. The reverie alone will do, if bees are few. The pedigree of honey does not concern the bee. A clover any time to him is aristocracy. Forbidden fruit a flavor has that lawful orchards mocks. How luscious lies the pea within the pod that duty locks. The wind began to rock the grass with threatening tunes and low. He flings a menace at the earth, a menace at the sky. The leaves unhooked themselves from trees and started all abroad. The dust did scoop itself like hands and throw away the road. The wagons quickened on the streets, the thunder hurried slow. The lightning showed a yellow beak, and then a livid claw. The birds put up the bars to nest, the cattle fled to barns. There came one drop of giant rain, and then, as if the hands that held the dams had parted hold, the waters wrecked the sky, but overlooked my father's house, just quartering a tree. The morns are meeker than they were, the nuts are getting brown, the berry's cheek is plumper, the rose is out of town. The maple wears a gayer scarf, the field a scarlet gown. Lest I should be old-fashioned, I'll put a trinket on. I have not told my garden yet, lest they should conquer me. I have not quite the strength now to break it to the bee. I will not name it in the street, for shops would stare that I, so shy, so very ignorant, should have the face to die. The hillsides must not know it, where I have rambled so, nor tell the loving forest the day that I shall go, nor lisp it at the table, nor heedless by the way, and that within the riddle one will walk today. My river runs to thee, blue sea, wilt welcome me? My river waits reply, O sea, look graciously. I'll fetch thee brooks from spotted nooks, say sea, take me. I never saw a moor, I never saw the sea, yet know I how the heather looks, and what a wave must be. I never spoke with God, nor visited in heaven, yet certain am I of the spot, as if the chart were given. There is no frigate like a book to take us lands away, nor any coursers like a page of prancing poetry. This traverse may the poorest take without oppressive toll. How frugal is the chariot that bears a human soul. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin, and to his nest again, I shall not live in vain. A word is said, a word is dead, when it is said, some say. I say it just begins to live that day. In this short life that only lasts an hour, how much, how little is within our power. Good night, darling. Good night.